Welcome to today's lesson. We are looking at a classic short story called The Necklace, written by French author Guy de Maupassant. Maupassant was a master of realistic fiction, famous for stories that end with sharp, unexpected twists. To understand this story, we first need to understand the society of 19th century France. In this era, the middle class was heavily focused on social standing. People aggressively judged one another based on superficial appearances, titles, and the display of luxury goods. Enter our protagonist, Mathilde Lewelsel. She is a woman born into a family of ordinary clerks, and she marries a clerk. Yet she suffers constantly. She holds a stubborn belief that an error of destiny placed her in the working class, and she truly belongs in high society. Even with a warm home and a hot dinner, Mathilde feels tortured. While her husband praises the simple pot pie on their table, she is mentally elsewhere, imagining silver dishes and elegant dinners that her life as a clerk's wife cannot provide. One evening, her husband, Monsieur Loisel, Monsieur is the French title for Mr., arrives home bursting with excitement. As a pragmatic, hard-working clerk, he is thrilled to offer his wife a rare chance to step into the upper echelon of society. He hands her a large envelope. Inside is an incredibly exclusive invitation. It asks for their company at an evening reception hosted by the Minister of Public Instruction. This is a highly selective event, rarely offered to low-level employees. Instead of being delighted, Mathilde throws the invitation onto the table in tears. She bitterly complains that she cannot possibly attend such an event because she doesn't own an expensive, elegant gown to wear. Seeing her weep, her husband makes a major sacrifice. He gives her 400 francs. Francs were the standard French currency at the time, and 400 was a massive sum. He had saved that exact amount to buy a hunting gun for himself, but gives it all up so she can buy a beautiful dress. This 400-franc gift is a massive gesture of love from a practical man. By funding this dress, Monsieur Loisel provides the physical means for Mathilde to finally begin acting out the high society fantasy she has spent years imagining. Even with the new dress, Mathilde finds a new reason to complain. She tells her husband she will look poverty-stricken without high-end jewelry to wear with it. Her husband suggests borrowing something from her wealthy friend, Madame Forestier. Mathilde visits her friend, searches through a large jewelry box, and borrows what appears to be a breathtaking, priceless diamond necklace. At the ministry ball, she finally gets what she always wanted. She is elegant, gracious, and admired by the wealthy elite. She dances with pure enthusiasm, completely intoxicated by the attention and lost in her own vanity. For this single night, her illusion is flawless. She has successfully faked her way into feeling like she truly belongs among the rich. The euphoria shatters the moment they return to their drab apartment at 4 a.m. Mathilde looks in the mirror for one final glimpse of her glory and utters a cry. The sparkling diamond necklace is now gone. Monsieur Loisel goes back out into the cold night. He walks their entire route, goes to the police, checks the cab offices, puts advertisements in the newspapers. He finds nothing. Paralyzed by the fear of embarrassment, they make a fatal decision. Instead of simply telling Madame Forestier the truth, they decide to lie, saying the clasp broke. This gives them time to secretly buy an exact replacement. This chart shows the crushing financial math they face. They find a replacement necklace priced at 36,000 francs. Monsieur Loisel has 18,000 francs inherited from his father. To get the remaining 18,000, he borrows it. He takes money from usurers, lenders charging extremely high, abusive interest rates. He makes ruinous promises, signing notes that will drain their income for years. They wanted to protect their pride and avoid a temporary embarrassment, but by choosing deception over honesty, they lock themselves into a permanent financial prison. To pay this massive debt, their reality shifts violently. They fire their maid, abandon their apartment, and move into a cheap, cramped attic. Mathilde is forced to learn the heavy, odious labor of a desperately poor housewife. She washes the dishes, carries heavy buckets of water upstairs, and haggles with the grocer for every single penny. Her husband suffers alongside her. After working his regular job all day, he spends his evenings doing accounting work,
and stays up late into the night copying documents for a measly 5 cents a page. They live this brutal existence for 10 straight years. By the time the debt is finally paid in full, Matilda is aged, hardened, and completely stripped of her former beauty. To pay for a single night of pretending to be wealthy, Matilda condemned herself and her husband to a decade of true, inescapable poverty. One Sunday, Matilda is taking a walk along the Champs-Élysées, a famous avenue in Paris, to rid herself of the week's cares. She unexpectedly spots Madame Forestier, who is still youthful and attractive. Now that the debt is completely settled, Matilda feels a newfound confidence. She approaches her friend, introduces herself, and confesses the truth about losing and replacing the necklace. Madame Forestier is shocked by Matilda's ruined appearance. She takes her friend's hands and reveals a devastating truth. The original borrowed necklace was a fake. This visual scale illustrates the brutal absurdity of their suffering. The Loisels spent 10 years paying off 36,000 francs for a necklace, while the original costume jewelry was worth no more than 500 francs. The Loisels paid a massive price for their pride. True contentment only comes from accepting your reality. Having the courage to admit a mistake and face the truth is always less costly than the price of living a lie.